On this episode of Drinking Made Easy, we visit the American Riviera. We stomp some grapes.
What's going on there, bud, on your rebel feet?
Get enlightened on the urban wine trail.
I'm all about the educational experience.
And have some spicy brews with a guy in a kilt.
Some like it hot.
Some like it hot.
It's Drinking Made Easy, Santa Barbara. I'm Zane Lamprey, and my job is to drink. I'm traveling around with my mascot, Steve McKenna, and my buddy, Pleplius, as we explore the local drinking cultures, customs, and cocktails. Along the way, we'll soak in the local flavor in an effort to make drinking easy. Located on the central coast of California, Santa Barbara is one of the top wine regions in the country. Our first stop is one of Santa Barbara County's first wineries. Gainey's Spanish-style winery opened in 1984 and quickly became one of Central Coast's most popular wineries. We make our way out to the vineyard to meet up with Jeff Liebert and have him explain to us what goes into great winemaking. I'm kind of thirsty, so I crack open a 2008 Merlot limited selection from Gainey.
So this is one of your flagships then, right?
This is something that Gainey's been known for quite a long time. Gainey's one of the original 3 wineries in Santa Barbara County. So we've been here, since the beginning, basically, of this appellation in this area. So these vines have actually been in the ground since the mid-'80s.
So this is some amazing wine. It's so robust.
Yeah. Thank you.
What are you picking up? What flavor notes?
Grape?
Yeah, we're getting some grapes.
There you go.
Red grape.
Good.
You know, people are always attaching different flavor comparisons because wine tastes like wine.
Right.
But then they're trying to pull out these things as sort of descriptor words. What would you use as descriptor words for this particular wine?
So first and foremost, I always like to tell people that are getting into wine that it's all preference. I mean, if there was one wine that everybody loved the most and that's what they drank, if everybody was kind of the same, then we'd make one wine and be done with it. That's why we make so many different wines. So I'd throw it back to you and say it's really about whatever you take out of it.
And so what are we drinking, the Merlot?
This is a 2008 Limited Select Merlot. It's a term that people put on the wines to distinguish kind of high tier versus regular tier.
Jeff tells us what separates their white label wines from the limited selection.
The grapes typically come from the same vineyard. So the difference between the Limited Select and the white label is as I go out every day, 6 o'clock in the morning, I taste the fruit during harvest and decide when it's going to be picked. But what I'm also deciding is where's my dilution factor. So I could be walking one of these hills like this and tasting the fruit, and all of a sudden I come to a plant that I feel is starting to become weaker than what I've been tasting. It doesn't have that same intensity.
Okay.
So I flag the rows, and we only pick that section of the vineyard. So it's that super intense stuff ends up being bigger, richer, deeper, darker, and that's the stuff that we end up using more for the Limited Select. There's a basic style, I think, that everybody has when they're making these wines, and I try and follow my style to a degree, but I'm always trying to improve it and always trying to put a little bit of a different nuance in it to make it get to that next level. So. Sorry.
I'm approaching my delusion factor.
That's okay.
Good wine starts at the vine, so Jeff explains his process of determining which grape will make the best wine.
Everything starts in the vineyard. You can't make an A+ wine out of C- grapes. It just doesn't work. So, a lot of that comes down to how you're growing the grapes, how the fruit's being exposed to the sun, your weather, soil types are big, trellising's big.
Terroir.
Yeah,
Terroir.
exactly.
What's terroir?
It's a French word.
Now that the boys know what goes into making good wine, it's time to give it a try. Today's six-pack challenge is grape stomping. The goal of today's challenge is to pick and stomp enough grapes to fill a 1-gallon jug with juice. From the vine to the jug, one of these boys will be picking and stomping their way to victory. It's time for the six-pack challenge. Lamprey and McKenna hustle up their rows and start picking. Lamprey's quicker, but McKenna is going for the larger bunches. But McKenna is also eating his. They'll need at least 10 pounds of grapes to fill their 1-gallon jug. McKenna has just about filled his bin. Lamprey finished picking and now makes his way to the barrel. And McKenna is right on his tail. The grapes go into the barrels, immediately followed by the guys.
I think Steve's got more grapes to work with. It's pretty damn close.
Lamprey is taking a methodical approach, while McKenna is stomping his hobbit feet as quickly as he can.
What's going on there, bud, on your rebel feet?
I need a win.
Judging by McKenna's labored breathing, grape stomping is proving to be more difficult than expected. With all his juice trapped at the bottom, Lamprey tips his barrel and starts to flow. McKenna might not have good ideas of his own, but he knows a good one when he sees one. At this point, the boys are neck and neck. Oh, and McKenna nearly loses his whole barrel. And it's down to the wire.
Yeah, what's up? Come on! Come on!
Lamprey fills his jug first and wins this week's six-pack challenge.
Thank you. This is actually really good.
It is really good grape juice. You guys should make grape juice. Our next stop is slightly out of town near a cool bridge. I meet up with John Locke to learn the history of Santa Barbara's oldest tavern.
This was a stagecoach stop from 1886 to 1901. Okay. In 1901, the railroad was completed from Los Angeles to San Francisco. But this is where they changed horses. This is the only sort of flat area where they could build a stable for the horses and house and change drivers.
And so we're talking about a run from back and forth LA, San Francisco.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you trust Steve and I to, forget Steve, do you trust me to make it?
Sure.
Under your tutelage?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The Cold Spring Sangria is made with Syrah wine, Cabernet wine, orange juice, brandy, oranges, lemons, limes, Grand Marnier, and sweet and sour. First, we pour a half bottle of the Syrah.
So half of this?
Yeah, put half of that in there. We might add a little bit more later.
Then 3/4 of a bottle of the Cab. Some OJ, 5 ounces of brandy,
It's sangria.
Yeah.
2 sliced oranges, 2 sliced lemons, and 2 sliced limes. Then some Grand Marnier,
I can tell you.
and give it a spin. Now it's ready to serve.
A little something, something.
A little
kick.
extra citrus and looks good.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Really, Steve?
Good job.
Wow, it's very tasty, sangria.
Thank you.
Coming up on Drinking Made Easy, the return of the Shakeway Girl.
Whoa! All right, how do you compete with that? Welcome back to Drinking Made Easy. You know, this is a TV show about drinking, but it's also a drinking game.
And there are rules to the drinking game.
Yes, for example, whenever I drink, you have to drink.
And if you're the first person to see Pleatlius, you get to make somebody else drink.
Whenever I burp, the last person to go like this has to drink. That's
Me.
you. For more rules, go to drinkingmadeeasy.com. Next, Steve and I take a jaunt down the urban wine trail. Comprised of 12 wineries in downtown Santa Barbara, it's one of the best ways to get a taste of local Santa Barbara wine. We make a pit stop at Municipal Winemakers to get some info from its proprietor, Dave Potter.
Apparently, we don't understand how the wine trail works.
Okay.
We may not be pacing ourselves properly.
Well, define trail.
It's an urban wine trail. Can you
Right.
define it for us?
We're pretty strongly affiliated group of wineries, all in downtown Santa Barbara here, and it's more of an educational experience. So
Okay.
instead of getting wasted, which
isn't, I mean, bad, really.
no, and
I'm
you
all
know,
about the educational experience.
for us, it's about introducing our wines to people, and what we're trying to do is strip away all the baggage that comes along with wine.
The pretension?
The pretension.
Got it,
Exactly. Kind of take that wrapper off and make it a little bit of a safe haven for people that are curious about wine, but maybe are a little bit scared to delve into the wine tasting experience. So sophisticated, but it's an intellectual experience in a lot of ways. But
The process of making great wine is not very easy, but enjoying wine is.
Right.
And it doesn't need to be pretentious. Drinking wine should be fun.
Yeah.
Whether you're at a dinner or
Right.
you're just hanging out like this, wine has alcohol in it, and that breeds
absolutely.
fun. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
Thanks, man.
Can I get some more wine?
Now that we understand the wine trail, Dave tells us about some of his wines.
I've got relationships with like 8 different growers in the St. Ines Valley. Basically purchase fruit and then squish the grapes myself, make wine.
But not here?
Not here, no.
It's a grape squashing facility.
At a grape squashing facility.
Okay. And then you have fermenting tanks of some sort.
Yeah, it's all tiny little batches, so it's pretty much all done by hand. Throughout the year, we do about 10 different wines.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
How many do you have at this particular moment?
I think there's 6 or 7 of them out there.
So
right now.
when you say 6 or 7, you say in bottles, basically?
In bottles,
Okay.
right. But we also do a few wines on tap as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You have wines on tap. Have you ever done a wine stand?
I've seen people do it. It's kind of an awkward position here, but...
It's also an awkward question.
Well rested and better educated, it's time to hit the trail again. For our next stop, we head to Stearns Wharf for a local bar called Longboards. I jump behind the bar with Katie Thompson to make a cocktail that comes in a special cup.
Yeah.
The Shark Bite is made with dark rum, cranberry juice, orange juice, and a splash of grenadine. So am I filling those with ice?
Yes.
Like that?
Yep, perfect. I think you're good.
The whole thing starts with dark rum.
About 4 count.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna show you why that doesn't necessarily work. Everyone's 4 count is different. Here's mine. 1, 2, 3, 4. And Steve's, you count your 4 count.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Just keep on going. 4.
Okay. Now you give us your 4 count. And the correct 4 count.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, good. Those are sort of built to suit. Not sure if this one makes a lot of sense. Do we need to make room?
Yeah.
Do I need to make room?
Yeah, you both should.
Down to your level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's to making room.
Okay. Now that we have some room, we add a splash of grenadine. Then top it off with equal parts cranberry juice and orange juice. Give it a shake and feed it to the shark. That is deceptively large.
And that is it, my friend.
Now all we need are straws.
Perfect.
The finishing touch is a bloody dab of grenadine.
There you go.
Fantastic.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Cheers.
It's delicious.
What are you doing? Steve? Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
I'm attacking this.
Next, we head over to Blue Agave, Santa Barbara's destination for tequila and mezcal. With the help of Alex Jones, we make a house specialty inspired by the Mexican artist Frida Kahlo. The smoking Frida is made with poblano peppers, jalapenos, apple juice, Cointreau, mezcal, and smoke. We add the poblano peppers and jalapenos to a pint glass with equal parts apple juice and Cointreau. Muddle,
2 hands. Get in there. Get in there. 5 more seconds.
then add a pinch of cumin.
Should be good.
Then the best part, an ounce of mezcal,
Yeah, get in there.
or maybe a little more.
All right. Here we go.
Shake.
There you go.
You good?
You need more shake weight that. More like a shake weight action.
Wait, did he say shake weight? Let's go back to the Monterey episode to learn perfect form from the shake weight girl. Whoa. All right, how do you compete with that?
There you go. There you go.
Then add ice to a rocks glass,
Should be good.
pour in the drink. Now comes the reason it's called the smoking Frida.
So now we're gonna smoke it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, smoke it.
Now we're in Santa Barbara, man.
Not yet. Now.
I cap the drink and trap the smoke inside. Nice. So when the customer takes the cap off, it's smoking. Coming up on Drinking Made Easy, a peppery prank. It hurts in my mouth and on my lips, in the back of my throat, my stomach hurts, and my eyes are watering.
Yeah, my stomach hurts.
Welcome back to Drinking Made Made Easy. You know, this isn't just a show about drinking. It's also an education.
Yeah, for example, we're on the Urban Wine Trail in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, we are. And if you want to find out the location of the Urban Wine Trail and the various stops on it, just go to drinkingmadeeasy.com. It's so simple. Yeah. Don't even tell them. Don't even tell them. It's fine. It's easy. It's too easy. We are drinking our way through the 805, and our next stop is Dutch Gardens, the home of the world's youngest certified Cicerone.
You are a Cicerone.
I am, yeah, certified Cicerone.
There you go, that's the difference.
Yes.
Zach Rosen passed the Cicerone test at 22, becoming the world's youngest certified Cicerone. So I have a seat with this youngster to discuss what it means to be a Cicerone.
The first question is, what is a Cicerone?
A Cicerone is an archaic term for a museum guide or docent. We can take you around through history, science, anywhere you want to go, we can take you there with the beer. It really emphasizes beer and food pairing.
Are you getting it? You're literally twiddling your thumbs over there. I was being distracted because you were literally doing that. I did not think that's something people actually did. It was actually twiddling thumbs.
I think I would really like to. Can we have a dose?
Well, yeah.
So Zach heads to the bar to grab us some beers.
Cheers. Thanks.
Before we move on, I have to pause so Dumbbeard can ask a question.
What's the biggest beer misconception out there?
Let's see, drinking out of the bottle is probably the biggest thing. To think that it doesn't actually matter, you know, I'll just drink it out of the bottle. It could taste completely different in the glass. But I mean, even if you're trying to drink a lot too, by pouring it in a glass, you're pushing out carbonation. By doing that, it takes less room in your stomach. You can drink more if you drink out of a glass versus a bottle.
Don't get excited.
Yeah.
Don't get excited. The quantity is not what we're talking about.
Plus,
here.
it tastes better.
There you go.
I am excited. I've learned so much. I feel certified already.
Yeah, right?
No, you're certifiable. That's the same thing. All right, so now you're gonna pair some foods for us and show us what you do. Okay.
While Zach takes a trip to the bar, I take a quick trip to the bathroom.
I just used your lovely facility.
Yes.
And I noticed you have toilet candy. On the back of your toilet, there's little Andy's candies.
Absolutely.
I didn't take one.
Okay,
I wasn't sure if they were for me or if someone left them there.
We have no idea who's doing that. We are still trying to find out who is doing that. We know it's one of the regulars, but we can't actually track
So
down.
you have a customer that puts mint on the toilet.
Whoever it is. They go and they come back.
Okay, back to the beer.
So what we have here is we actually have two different beers paired with the same meal.
The first is Salvatore Doppelbock.
Very malty?
It's liquid bread.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
very bready, I guess, huh?
It has so many sugars in it that it was made to sustain the monks through Lent. And so 40 days, 40 nights without any food, that's the beer they designed.
Next is the Monk's Cafe. Oh yeah, it's a sour beer.
It's a sour beer. You should have warned me. Literally, I could cut glass with these boys right now.
Now that we've had the beer on its own, we're gonna pair it with some food.
The sauerkraut and potato salad, they both have vinegar. They're gonna have a little bit of tartness.
Okay.
We have the Polish sausage, it's spicy, it's a little bit smoky.
This is the same sausage?
The sausage,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
As we pair our beers with food, we find that each dish brings out a different flavor component in the beer.
It comes off as super fruity.
It's great with these kind of dishes because it brings out a completely different quality out of the Monk's Cafe. There's two main concepts in pairing beer. It's complement or contrast. You want to enhance the flavors or enlighten them.
Okay.
Something like the sweetness of a Doppelbock, right, is going to emphasize a completely different character out of the beers versus something like sour is going to contrast them.
So what you're looking for is sort of this roller coaster of flavors. I'm most impressed, which I was surprised by, is the fact that these German-style potatoes complement this. It doesn't contrast it or anything like that.
Well, and that's what you're looking for in beer
Okay.
pairings. An enhanced thing.
No,
I
I
lose
think.
on purpose.
You know what? We'll all drink to that.
Okay, yeah,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
absolutely.
For our next stop, we head over to Brew House for some truly spicy beer. We meet up with ex-rocket scientist, brewer, and avid kilt wearer Pete Johnson to make their spicy habanero pilsner. But first, Pete explains the origins.
We have a raspberry habanero sauce that we put on pork dishes and
That's
things
made
like
with
that.
these.
Made with the dried peppers. And I was sitting around drinking beer with a couple of guys kind of late into the night. And I thought, well, let's put some of this raspberry habanero sauce in it.
Got
And
it.
of course, the texture of the sauce just didn't work real well. It wasn't very good. But the heat from the peppers came through in an interesting way.
Okay.
So I thought, well, heck with the raspberry sauce. Let's just get the peppers right from the kitchen, chop them up, and try them in the beer.
And so you started using the
I started
dried ones.
using just the dried ones.
And
But
now you have
I
the...
branched out to these because I found out with the dried ones you get a lot of heat, but you don't get much flavor or aroma.
Okay. And so what do you do now? You mix them both?
I mix them both.
Okay.
This is a nice batch right here. We'll put this in about 10 gallons of beer.
Okay.
Each batch of their spicy Pilsner gets 6 fresh habaneros and 6 dried habaneros.
You're gonna want to wash your hands several times before you touch your face.
These hot?
They are.
Can I eat one?
Go ahead.
Here? Pop it in there?
Pop it in there. Is that hot?
Yep. Yep, that's hot.
That's hot. All right.
Then place them into a nylon mesh bag. Now they're ready to drop in the beer.
Pop it open. You got that bag of peppers?
I do, sir.
Drop it right in there.
It's weighted. Sort of unceremonious.
We could say a few words if you want.
Peace out, bitch.
There you go.
Don't be so hot next time.
Nice.
All right, so...
Now what happens?
It takes about 3 hours for the beer to take on all the pepper flavor. We're not much for waiting, so Pete orders a few pints of the finished product.
All right. All right, so here it is.
Cheers. So this is a habanero...
Habanero pills, right? You can smell the peppers.
Yeah, you can.
It's more of an afterburn, you know? It's not
Well-
that hot in the front of your mouth, but as you swallow it, you can feel it all the way down to about
That has a kick to it.
It does have a kick.
there. Yeah, you know, for 20 years or so, I was worked for NASA, designed various entry guidance techniques. I discovered good beer and got into home brewing, and then I'd be sitting there at work thinking about beer, and I thought, you know, you might as well have a job where that makes sense.
Right.
So I gave up the rocket science business, started making beer. It's way more fun.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
We have more beer to try, so we quickly polish off these pints. And Pete heads back to grab us a few porters.
This is basically the same sort of process. It's a
Right.
similar process, but made with a porter.
Made with a porter and using a different chili. In this one we use ghost chilies, which
Okay.
are the highest chili on the Scoville scale. You know the Scoville scale?
I'm very familiar with the Scoville scale.
So these are the highest I think there is.
What about 10,000, 70,000?
Something like that.
Okay.
A really big number.
A really high number.
Let's try it.
Try it.
See, does that really taste any hotter than the last one?
Yes.
I mean, a little bit.
Yes.
Little side note, Steve has no idea that Pete and I are drinking the regular Ghost Chili Porter, and Steve is drinking their hottest beer, Black Death 666.
I feel weird. I'm like unresponsive.
Hot? Yeah, it's actually over 1 million Scoville units.
Wait,
He's got the hot one.
I got the hot one. Wait, is this a joke?
Yeah.
Oh, f***ing A,
That
man.
one's hotter than ours. Here, try this.
Ours is still really hot.
I know.
I didn't know it would be this hot.
Tabasco in there?
Wait,
No,
wait,
we
time
just-
out. We have the, what's ours called?
Ours is just the ghost chili porter.
And what's his?
Black Death 666.
Okay.
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Black
I thought we were
Death.
friends.
Yeah, you know,
No, we just met him.
we call it the 666 because in a half gallon we use 6 ghost chilies, 6 dried habaneros, and 6 whole habaneros. In half a gallon.
Yeah, his is worse.
But my eyes are starting to water.
It hurts in my mouth and on my lips. In the back of my throat, my stomach hurts, and my eyes are watering.
Yeah, my stomach hurts.
Okay, this is good beer, dude.
Check us out on Facebook and at drinkingmadeeasy.com.